Welcome back to Let's Play Shining Force with me, Jerupitus, and we are in the island town of Waral, and there has been an incident where a giant whirlpool has opened beyond the reef, and one of the town's friars, there are two of them, one of the friars is missing, and we are going to investigate his disappearance right now. So let's head into these dangerous waters and see what happens. And we are immediately sucked in. And where have we ended up? Well, I'm glad to see you're up. You were thrown from your ship. I rescued you. Strange doings. The water and ring reef vanished, and a strange creature appeared. It might have something to do with the legend of a shining path that leads to Metafa. The legend says Metafa is a land of the ancients, so we have another land of the ancients that we want to check out. A Life in the Light, Secrets of the Waral region, and many more books. So it was very nice of that friar to rescue us as we just immediately crashed our ship as soon as we came in here. And we can get a little bit of a peek at this sort of thing in the top left there. So let's check it out. Yep, nothing else we can do here, so let's head on in. What the? Let's chase him. A spooky skeleton. I'm gonna get you. What are you doing here? I must inform the master. Where even are we? What is this place? Pretty cool, huh? I just kind of wanted to explore around in here, but this is clearly some kind of pathway connecting distant areas. So let's give chase to that skeleton. I invoke a path before me. What? Shining Force? I was so close, so close. I shall destroy you all. And that is a master mage, and that's a little concerning. Why don't we check him out? So he knows freeze too, and has a holy staff, so he can cast hard and he can hit hard. So that's a little bit worrisome. A number of hellhounds. And these guys are new, the worms. They're nothing special, but they hit pretty hard. And they're overall a fairly dangerous enemy. And now I do believe, yep, of course there are bats waiting in the wings to kind of get us. That is a trick they love to employ. So we need to watch out with regard to our formation and not leave any of our casters on the edges. Let's leave some space for Henri to get some frontliners between her and these guys up on our flanks here. I could run up and hit this thing, but I think I'm gonna wait. Because, once again, you don't want to get impatient. Kokichi is not a tank, so we're gonna leave him a little bit back. But what the enemy wants to do here is hit us from the side while we're a bit bottlenecked. And I would like it if they did not do that. So we're just going to keep waiting. Yeah, we'll wait for these bats to come in and then we'll just hit them super hard. And unfortunately, there aren't going to be any secret items this fight or anything like that. I suppose the only thing worth mentioning is that if you kill that Master Mage, it immediately ends the fight. Similar to that Fortress one, but this one is a lot more obvious. I kind of was blown away when it was just an ordinary Hellhound and I killed him and the fight ended and I missed a bunch of experience. But we are still doing pretty well on levels and damage and things like that. And I'm going to do my best to not sit here and dwell on my mistakes constantly. It's hard, though. Yeah, she's got 22 MP already? Wow. Yeah, I'm just going to stay. I don't need to rush in there. I have enough close-up hitters, so... I can have Balboroy take a swing, though. I would really like to get him to level 10 so we can get a Steel Sword on. That would improve his damage a great deal. Alright, level 10, no stats, but I believe that's going to mean he can use a Steel Lance on our way out of here, and I will probably be interested in giving him one of those. Eight damage is nothing to Ken. I can go over there and hit, huh? Let's do it. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until we finish up with these bats before I push on these guys, but I will move up the square and see if that aggroes them. And now, I did mention that it's very hard to play a Sega Genesis game and not think about... we do not need to do a Blaze 3. I'm just going to cast a 1, I think. Well, I do want the kill, though. Let's make it a 2. So it's difficult to play a Sega Genesis game without thinking about the story of the Sega Genesis system. Level up, love that. 7 speed and 5 MP. Wow, that's awesome. I kind of want to see if I can use a Heat X to drop a Heat 2, or a Blaze 2, I mean. We'll see. So there was a really great documentary that fairly recently came out called Console Wars. And that told the story of the Sega Genesis versus the Nintendo and Super Nintendo. And I've alluded to the fact that Sega really screwed that up, and that's true. But the story is more interesting and more complicated than that. And I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to tell this entire story over the course of only one fight. But I'll do my best, and if I've got to break it up into a couple of episodes, that's okay. So to begin, I think it's important to talk about the main characters in this story. And so that's going to be the... Ooh, nice. I swear, every time I get talking about something, something very interesting happens with regard to combat. And it's hard to ignore it. I am not going to rush in there. That would be a mistake. So the CEO of Sega was Hayao Nakamura. And there's a man named Tom Kalinske. He's going to be our American counterpart for this story. Now, Tom Kalinske is the person who was responsible basically for the resurrection of the Barbie toy. You heard of Barbies? Of course you have. So, when it comes to marketing, he's kind of the man. And he got offered the job. Yeah, let's let this bat come to us. I don't want to rush this. Of basically being the CEO of Sega America. Tom Kalinske was. And believe me, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to sell some toys. Yeah, I don't want to deal with these three in front of me and the bats at the same time. So basically what's going on at this time is that Nintendo is insanely dominant, like nearly monopolistically dominant in the video game space. Basically, everyone's got a Nintendo, and Nintendo has used their position this way to kind of be market bullies. Where they're like, look, if you're a game developer, you're gonna develop for Nintendo, or we're gonna lock you out and never let you develop for us. Like, either you develop for us, or you just don't develop. Was kind of the deal at the time. Where if you want to sell your games, it needs to be a Nintendo game. Nobody's buying Ataris and what have you at the time. Particularly in the North American market. And Sega wants to challenge them. Do I dare? I think I do. Let's get in there. Check me out. My attack is a little goofy. I do kind of a twirly thing there. But I look awesome. Not that I don't love my green miniskirt, but the full suit of armor is pretty sweet nonetheless. Alright, you know what I'm gonna do? Yeah, you know what? Let's just get him. Let's go. That did not drop him, and I don't love that. I'm a little nervous about this attack I just made. It was at like a very bad spot in the turn order. Yikes. Those skeletons can still hit us pretty hard. This is going to be a perfect Blaze 3, though. Let's go. Ooh. Tao, that's almost mean. Yeah, I want to make sure this worm doesn't get a turn. So basically, Nintendo is crushing it, and Sega is this little upstart. And because you don't have a Sega console in your house right now, you probably know how this story ends. But I think it's interesting to talk about how it ended up happening. Now, Tom Kalinske gets offered the job and accepts. He is now CEO of Sega America. And the idea here is that I want to be careful how I phrase this, but it's important to understand... Uh-oh. Oh, dear. Okay, just a chompy attack and not a breath attack. That's very good for me, because that could have gotten a little scary. But it's important to understand that... Ooh, double attack. I'm telling you, every time. that when you're marketing, your sensibility about what would sell is heavily influenced by the culture in which you find yourself. So Japanese people came up with things like Pokemon that have been successful worldwide, of course. But coming up with something like that is steeped in Japanese culture. And so you can struggle to market effectively worldwide, particularly when you're dealing... Man, double attack again. Awesome. Particularly when you're dealing with a foreign culture. You might struggle a little bit there. You might be at a little bit of a loss with regard to understanding, how do I beat this giant? I think I'm out of healing items on Luke, right? Yeah, okay. Let's have him stay there, and let's see if we can get somebody to give him a healing item. Nope, Tao's just filled with, her inventory's full of crap. Swimsuits and orbs and what have you, nothing useful. And so, I did say that Sega really screwed this up, but they initially started with pretty good decision-making. And that would be that basically Tom had a bunch of ideas that they were not in love with. He wanted to make the Sega cheaper. He wanted to bundle it with a different game. I believe when it was flagging behind Nintendo, it was bundled with Altered Beast, which, don't get me wrong, Altered Beast is a fantastic game, but he had the idea of bundling it with Sonic the Hedgehog because he thought that what we need is a character like Mario, a flagship character. And he was right. I mean, you know who Sonic the Hedgehog is. Not everybody knows the game Altered Beast. A lot of people do, but certainly not on the level of famousness that is Sonic the Hedgehog. And before you know it, Sega's doing great. I'm gonna hit the guy I know I can hit. Alright, Ken gets nothing. Wonderful. That is starting to become concerning, because I'm gonna need Ken to get stats to keep up. I really want to drop some magic on this guy, but it doesn't feel safe, so we'll just wait. Now, if you're an old guy like me, you remember some of Sega's marketing campaign from then. There was the guy yelling Sega. I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to do an impression of that. But there was also the sing-songy Sega that would happen at the loading screen when you would boot up a Genesis. And so they were doing really well, and they decided to basically take Nintendo on head-on. Some of you may remember Sega does what Nintendo don't. Things like that, and it positioned itself as something that was cool. Where if you're a teenage boy, owning a Sega is cool, owning a Nintendo is not. And that's a big deal. But the main thing was that with regard to this cool factor, a big landmark case happened. Oh, you know what? Let me back up a little bit. I forgot to mention some of the marketing stuff that Sega did was... let's just put it as disingenuous. They came up with something called blast processing, which was not a thing. That didn't mean anything. It wasn't something that it actually did. But the idea was that the Sonic games were so fast that the processor in the Sega could do things that Nintendo couldn't, and that was not true. So while I do really like some of the marketing techniques that they engaged in, I think that straight up lying is bad. That is definitely bad. But so, to get back to where I was, there was a big landmark thing, and that was Mortal Kombat. Now, it seems kind of laughable now, but Mortal Kombat was pretty wildly violent for video games at the time. You had things like Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog. These are kid-friendly things. And then Mortal Kombat came out and kind of changed the game. And Sega made the decision to ship the game. Everybody censored the game, but Nintendo was a lot more family-friendly. Nintendo did not want you to have the blood and gore and fatalities and things like that at all. Sega was the one who was like, we're gonna ship it censored, but we're gonna leave in a code, and believe me, every kid knew how to access that code and get the blood in, the way the game was meant to be, the way it was envisioned by its creators. And it ended up outselling the Nintendo version like 2-1. Like, you were like, get the Sega one, it's the good one. It's the one with the blood and guts. That's what teenagers, kids, that's what we want. And at the risk of making it sound loftier than it is, we want games that are uncensored. We want games that are the vision that the person that created it, what it actually is, you know? And that was reflected in the sales, but Congress decided they wanted to get involved. They were horrified by this 16-bit violence. They thought it was corrupting the youth. They were all clutching their pearls over this game. And if you watch the documentary, it goes a lot more in-depth on this. I'm just sort of giving my understanding, which admittedly is going to be paraphrasing and perhaps getting some things wrong. But that hearing, and let's not forget that the hearing was also about the game Night Trap. And if you don't know what Night Trap is, do yourself a favor and look it up on YouTube. It's unbelievable. That game by itself, you could do an entire... I could talk about for an entire episode, but I kind of want to stick to at least staying mostly relevant to what we're playing. And the story of the Sega Genesis is definitely relevant to playing a game on the Genesis, I would argue. Anyway, the congressional hearings ended up leading to the creation of the ESRB. And that is why games are things like rated M for mature now. And honestly, I think that's kind of a good thing, because it gives games that are for a more mature audience a way to be sold, but appropriately labeled, right? Like, I wouldn't really want my kid playing a super violent, super gory game. Now, I have a lot of thoughts on the way that rating systems work, and I think that while they're overall a good thing, because I think things should have warning labels. Like, if I'm a parent, I want to know what I'm buying for my kid. And it's just a kind of single glance, I can tell, okay, this will be mostly all right, as long as I'm a fairly reasonable person, which I think I am. I hope this isn't a breath attack, because that's gonna hurt. But I guess to quickly get my thoughts out about that, the rating systems for movies and the rating systems for games are not objective, right? They're rated by people, and in relation to one another, they don't really make sense. and they have a very outsized influence on what you can get published and how you can sell, because if you end up with a rating that is, you know, mature or what have you, you're just going to be able to sell to a smaller audience. And the people in charge of whether or not your game gets rated M or your movie gets rated R, they don't have any checks or balances on their power, and that is kind of a lot of power if you really think about it. But overall, it's one of those necessary evils, right? Where you don't want it to be the Wild West. You don't want your games and movies and media and entertainment to have just like literally anything in them and there's not really a way to tell. So it's a difficult problem, it's a nuanced problem, and I'm not going to be able to, I think, cover all of my bases in the space of me just talking about stuff while I'm playing a game. But it's definitely an interesting topic. Anyway, after these congressional hearings, around this time, Sega is outselling Nintendo. Like, they're winning. They're kind of crushing it, honestly. This is kind of a dangerous move for Valveroy, but I would really like to get a kill if I can. Yes! Man, I am getting hit hard with the no stat level ups. It's kind of ugly, to be honest. So I think I'm gonna pause and pick the rest of this topic that I want to talk about in another episode, because we're coming to the end of the fight here. So let's just leave it at Sega is winning. They have taken on Nintendo with their insane market dominance, and through a combination of clever marketing and just generally speaking good strategy, this is like a really bad spot. I'm gonna hold off here. Well, should I? Let's just get in there. They have managed to, you know, not fell the giant, but managed to position themselves as a serious player. Which is no small feat. I mean, this would be like, for the time period, you starting up your own online store and, like, knocking Amazon down a peg. And that's an exaggeration, but honestly not a huge one. And you may be wondering, what happened? Why don't I own a Sega system nowadays? I wonder if I'll one-shot this guy. Almost. And I will answer that question, but it's gonna have to wait because there's a lot more that's going to happen. So for now, why don't we kill this Master Mage and win this fight? Ah, I was so close. The way to Metafa, almost ours. Jerupitus, I was waiting for you. I used that mermaid to bring you here. It is the voice of the spirit from the pool of the ancients. The shining path lies behind this door. It leads to the land of the ancients. The key to the accursed door is there. I shall open the way to the shining path now. What the? No! Though it takes all my remaining strength, you shall not use the path. The voice of the spirit is heard again, and you can see that the walls have fallen in front of us and the path is no longer accessible, despite it not looking quite that blocked. But here we go. Alas, the path is blocked. Listen, 2 things are needed to break free Dark Dragon. Dark Soul must get the key to the door, as well as the manual of the seal. That's right, you need the owner's manual for the seal. The manual is in Dragonia. You must stop Dark Soul. The seal must not be broken. Go to prompt. There you should find another shining path. And Nova says, Jerupitus, quick. This place is collapsing. Run! Let's do exactly that. Let's run out of here. And once again, we had the way to confront Cain and stop Dark Soul right in our palms, and it slipped through our fingers again. But we don't give up because we're the heroes, so let's keep going. I was right, the shining path was here, too bad it is now blocked. That is a shame indeed. And can we find anything else nearby? Nope, just the bed we woke up in. And nothing else over here. Okay. But we've managed to solve the whirlpool problem, it seems. And now we can visit the mermaid right here. It's me, Shell. You've been with the friar at Ring Reef. Did he tell you his secret? Did he? I believe he did, but let's answer no. His father was a friar of Shade Abbey. He was born in Gardania. Amazing! Are you leaving now? Please visit again after your quest is over. I'll show you around. I think she's kind of flirting with us a little bit. The mermaid has a crush on us. All right. Shell is really anxious to see you, Gerupitus. You must see her. Yeah, we already did. I wouldn't miss seeing Shell before I left. That would be very rude. Okay. Let's see if anyone in town has anything new to say. What? You saw a strange world under Ring Reef? Please don't tease me like that. But we did, though. He doesn't believe us. Please come again. We look forward to seeing you again. That is something an innkeep would say, though. Oh no, Ring Reef has returned to normal. It's so boring. Yeah, they did say nothing ever happens here, but honestly, you shouldn't wish to live in historic times, you know? I'm so glad peace has returned to Ring Reef. You know what? You're welcome. The ship is fixed, but you can't leave until the king gives his permission, so we do need to go talk to the king. I sense that you shall return here at your journey's end. Interesting. Probably to, you know, go wink wink at Shell. Be sure to buy all the weapons and items you need before you leave. Good idea. The other friar was on Ring Reef? How strange. It was strange. I don't know how he ended up there, to be honest. That Boken sure likes fish. Wait, what? Boken's here? Where? Hello, Gerupitus. Remember me, Boken? The water's great, as long as you don't get eaten. You know there's an enormous building under this island? It's amazing. We do, Boken, but it's always good to see you, my friend. Alright, out of the way, lady. Come on. Official Shining Force business. Now, let's see here. Do we want to go ahead and promote? I kind of feel like we do, and I want to get some steel spears. That seems like a fairly reasonable thing to do. We could even do it for Gunts. Balboroy can't quite get there, but Kokichi can. We could promote him too, and then he might also be able to hold a steel spear. Now let's see. How much money do I even have? That's kind of a lot of steel spears, right? 24,000, so I have like millions? Okay. Well, I could easily afford that. So why don't we do it? Let's just do it, huh? Now, I kind of lost my boat, and I need that to get to the friars, so let's find that. Oh, and we didn't talk to the mermaids yet, either. So we still have a few things to do before we leave. Shell is really happy that you're safe, Gerupitus. You know what? So am I. Did you really fight evil creatures under Ring Reef? Yes, we did. And we crushed them. How scary. They were right under our fins. That is scary. Even scarier than the whirlpool was, although they're both deeply unsettling. Why leave? It's great here. That's a good question. It is great here, but we have important things to do, like, I don't know, saving the world. Be careful, not everyone's as nice as people here. That's what I've heard, anyway. That is true. We have met some people that could be described as not particularly nice. Peace at last. And what about over here? I'm going to spend more time outdoors from now on. Okay, that's a good resolution. You know, why not? Just once I want to see a sacred dragon. Maybe I'll go to Dragonia someday. I too would like to see a sacred dragon. I suspect that we might. Thanks for cleaning up under the reef. You're welcome. It was a dirty job, but someone had to do it. Alright, so, okay. I almost forgot what I was doing. Let's go talk to the friar and get some promotions done. Alright, and our knights are going to become paladins. And they're going to have a pretty sweet in-battle character model. I'm really looking forward to that. It's a lot better than the, like, suit of armor up top, naked horse bottom. Nah, I guess, like, horses aren't naked, right? But because it's a part human being, it kind of feels that way. At least it does to me. And we're gonna go ahead and promote... Oh, I guess we could do Gunts too, huh? Yeah, because he can hold the spears too. Yep, let's do it. And if you're wondering what these abbreviations are, Gunts is a Steam Knight, and he is now a Steam Baron. This game shares the problem that a lot of Japanese games do, where you can express a lot more words with 4 characters in Japanese than you can in English. So that's why a lot of these old RPGs have these just brutal, incomprehensible abbreviations where you're like, what could this series of letters even mean? We're not promoting Xylo, but we are going to promote Kokichi. And he goes from a winged knight to a sky lord. And I don't have anyone left to promote except for Jogurt, who you can promote infinite times, and let's just do it. So Yogurt shall now be known as a yogurt. And if you like listening to this little jingle, you can do this as many times as you like, but Jogurt will never get better, and he will never be anything other than a yogurt. Alright, now let's head back to the weapon shop, and we get to do some more weapon juggling, which is not the most fun thing, but I think it's gonna be worth it. We're gonna have to give away his Shower of Cure, but who should hold it? I guess Luki's got the most space. Maybe Domingo, how about that? Okay, and now I'm not 100% certain that they all can use this, but I think so. So we'll just get ones for everyone that can use them. Yep, okay. I'm right about everything. And why don't we just make sure we're good on healing seeds? We did end up going through a couple. And we are, of course, running with no healers, so we need to make sure that we're, not making any mistakes when it comes to having the ability to heal. And this will just take a minute. Oh yeah, Xylo should be holding a bunch of these. Alright. Should be almost done then. Yep, that'll do it. And why don't we check out how much more damage that Steel Lance is gonna be if I get up close. Just 3 more? 3,000 for 3 more attack? That's not very good. I may have wasted my money there, but you know what? It's a good option to have. 3 more attack is not 0 more attack, so I think it'll be just fine. And we're gonna go ahead and talk to the king. Let's talk to his advisor first. You return Ring Reef to normal, I see. The king is quite pleased, and yeah, we are gonna go talk to the king because our ship should be done getting repaired by now, but we're gonna have to hold off until next time to do that. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.